Okay, so good morning and thank you guys for joining this week's Weekly Wave. We do have a few updates. Unfortunately, we do not have a lot of details on some of the updates that I will go over, but we do want to let you guys know that we are aware of them. So just getting right into it, the wave rollover has completed. We are issuing out requests as our auto request schedule details. A link to that will be posted in the chat here at some point during this call. But for now, the known issues that we have going with the wave rollover, one very important piece of one very important application that we have that is not working as expected is the StN system. We do have that big red note on single sign-on. At the moment, the StN system is one of our, it's one application that we are aware of that is still throwing an error. Yesterday, they were able to, our OMES group was able to correct any applications that may have been acting up yesterday. So for example, for those of you who may also work in the bus driver application, that was causing some issues yesterday, and that was able to be corrected. But for now, the StN system is still down, and we are still working with the OMES group to get a concrete date of when that will be up and running. We completely understand the importance of the StN system and how many applications and divisions in the agency that the STNs do affect. And so we are working with them very much to try and get the StN system back up and running and accessible to all of you. The same thing goes for single sign-on access for any new districts or sites. We are aware that that is not, for a lot of you, visible in single sign-on when you try and go and look up or see any data related to those sites. There is a overarching issue with that, and so right now all I can say is that that is actively being worked on. We've gotten an update from them in the last 20 minutes, and they are still working on making sure that all of that information is visible to you guys as soon as possible. And again, as soon as we have concrete dates of when we are aware that both the applications and the SSO access has been resolved, we will make sure to reach out to any of you that have reached out to us about this, as well as putting it on the single sign-on so you're aware. We have been getting quite a bit of questions about the July listing for the direct certification application in the WAVE. DHS is expected to send them over to us sometime this week, and we're expected to have the WAVE updated with that information by August 16th. If for some reason we get told this week that file exchange is not happening as we expect, we will, next time we have the weekly WAVE, as well as on the WAVE homepage, we will let you guys know when our new expected timeline is on these direct certifications going up. And just as a reminder for any of you who are working with new staff who are getting access to the WAVE for the first time and they do not have an affiliate's email address, they will have to contact OMES at the email address that you can see on your screens. Or if you're just listening to the audio, the email is servicedesk@omes.ok.gov. OMES is working on a way to automate this entire process so that you don't have to go through the step of contacting OMES so that they send you an email address. Right now, the goal is to have that done by the end of the year, but We are not going to promise that that is the date that that will go out. At the moment, that is the estimate. But again, for those of you who are working with any new staff that are getting access to the wave for the first time with their particular single sign-on account, they will need that affiliate's email to log into the wave. This is the only application in single sign-on at the moment that has this secondary login step. We're not expecting any other application in the way in single sign-on to have this. Right now, it is just the wave that requires this. And like I said, we are working on, or OMS is working on methods to get that automated. Unfortunately, SD does not have control over the rollout of those emails, so that is why it's very important to email the service desk rather than just the student data info office. We will help direct you or them to the right folks, but to save yourself a step, the service desk is the group that you'll want to contact. Second to last reminder, the ownership application in single sign-on and for the time being in the wave is accessible to most of you. If you're having issues getting into the ownership application, please do reach out to us and we'll try and figure out what's going on with your particular account. To our understanding, this application is up and running. So with that being said, make sure that you are reviewing any conflicts that are showing in that application. And there is a screenshot on the screen that shows how you can get a hold of the other district to contact them and see whether or not that student is actually enrolled and receiving instruction. The importance of the ownership wizard is simply many of our reports will run into errors when it comes to having students duly enrolled in the same site or in most cases with two different districts across two different sites. But we want to make sure that a student is only enrolled in one school district during one period of time. All right, into the PEBT report. And I know it says validation on this particular slide, but we are going to be talking about the report specifically. The school year 21 data will be finalized within the next 2 weeks and exchanged with DHS. And the overall report is expected to be updated for school year 2022 this month as well. And we will make sure to, in writing, send out the estimated date that we are expecting to roll over that report so that you can review the information that's coming through for your students' lunch and calendar information. See who is eligible for PEBT benefits. All right, and so that is the updates that we have for this particular week. Next week, hopefully we should be able to again give you guys more concrete details on what's going on with a lot of these applications and with the single sign-on account access for any new districts or sites. Again, we'll try and be as transparent as we can with all of the issues that are kind of going on as a result of the rollover that happened over the in July. So if you guys are seeing any issues, please do reach out to us. There is one note that I will have to say for, and is not detailed here in the slides, but for those of you who are using PowerSchool, there should be a digest email coming out within the next day or so, if it hasn't already been released, letting you all know that there was a certificate change. And so if any of you who are accessing your SIF agent specifically, you'll want to make sure that you read that digest that PowerSchool is or is about to send out They'll detail how you can update those certificates. And by doing that, you'll be able to start sending school year 22 data with the state. So for those of you who are looking at your WAVE district communication and you're seeing that it is in red, saying that you do not have communication with the state yet, do double check to make sure that you have gone ahead and updated the certificate that PowerSchool has made available to all of its customers. And there is a question in the chat here about EdPlan and whether or not it's talking with the WAVE yet, and the answer is no. And I do not want to speak for special ed on what date that they are specifically expecting to start. Back up the communication with the WAVE. I do know that they're in the beginning steps of rolling over to the school year 22. All right, there's another question in the chat about PEBT, the report. Okay, so I'm not sure why that closed, but the PEBT report specifically was so that for school year 2021, money could be issued out for students who were eligible. This is going to be very similar. It's the same information, but for school year 22. So payments will still occur for school year 2022 for PEBT benefits. And all right, there are no other questions specifically. I'll go ahead, stop the recording.